Hi friends, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be going over and reviewing a product by Arteza. This one is the do-it-yourself frame watercolor pad. This is the 140 pound cold press paper. It's what it says on the cover here is ideal for watercolor techniques and mixed media. And this one unfolded is 9 inches by 12 inches. It's very cool because then you can fold it up and make your own frame. So this is what the pad looks like. I don't know if you can see that very well, but then it's got like fold lines, it's got score lines to tear the paper. I think you can see the indentions. So it's, it comes in a 9 by 12 pad, but once it's folded down, this is 5 inches by 6.6 inches. They do have a bigger one so that when those are folded up, I think that one comes in 11 by 14 pad. When it's folded up is 7 inches by 8.6 inches. And then they also have some for acrylics. They also have the expert watercolor paper. This is their premium, their expert watercolor paper, which is 100% cotton. So keep that in mind. 100% cotton is always awesome for watercolor. In my opinion, it's the best for watercolor. And but this is a little less expensive option. They also had some black sketch pad ones, so you would have this really cool black sketch canvas frame, which is really neat. And the acrylic one and the black sketch pad, those were a heavier paper. All the watercolor papers were this weight, which was 140 pounds. So we're gonna I'm gonna do a project with this. I'll show you what the end result is. We're gonna make this, which is actually really pretty cool in my opinion. I was kind of skeptical. So let's go check out how we did it. All right, so here's what the pad looks like again. There's going to be 20 sheets in here, and this is the premium, and this is the smaller one. This one's the 9 by 12 inch. And here is how the paper looks when you open that pad up. So it's easily, you can tear it out, and I do apologize, my camera's going to go in and out here for a second, but you can see the fold lines. You can see where you're going to tear off the edge so that you can start doing your folding, and that is how it starts. I'm going to keep it all intact to begin with, and I do start out using my waffle flower media mat, and I've put down some speckled egg distress oxide and then spritzed it. I'm going to do some ink smushing, and then I'm going to dry that in between each layer. And it's at this point that I decide that I want a little bit more control, so I'm just going to take a piece of acetate, and then I'm going to use my next color, which is abandoned coral. I don't like that it is very square and rectangular, so I'm going to spritz it with some water and then take my finger around the edges and kind of give it a little bit more organic look. And I do like using the acetate because it helps so much with control. And as you can see, I wiped it right on the edge. Thankfully, that'll be a folded up edge and you won't really be able to see that. But I'm going to heat set that once again, and we'll bring in our next color. And the reason I like the distress oxides is because they do layer nicely. Our next color is Dusty Concord. That's going to be our last color. And I am going to keep some of that white space in there. I do want to use this pad again, and I want to try to do a lot more water. Obviously, there wasn't a whole lot of water on this, but if you've used watercolor paper at all, you know that sometimes, depending on how much water you use, you might have a tendency for that watercolor paper to warp. And so I am curious how that might work if I tried to do a do-it-yourself frame and had a lot of water and ended up with some warping. I didn't have warping, so we're okay there. I'm going to take some of my Brutus Monroe. This is my pearl aqua pigment. I'm going to splatter that all over that background. This is just going to give it like a nice, almost like a clear, shiny, some dots on there just to add to that texture. And then I'm going to set this off to the side to dry, but check out all that shimmer. Very pretty. Now we're going to do our stamping. We'll talk about that. I have just some Express It cardstock that I've put into my MISTI, and I'm going to ink up this stamp by Trinity Stamps. This is the It's Okay stamp set, and I love this line. This is by the Love Danny line, and you know, if you've watched me at all, I tend to buy these ones up and use them just because I love that it's a big, bold sentiment, and I thought it would work perfect for this little do-it-yourself frame because I thought how nice this would be to be able to hang this up in my office. Sometimes we need a reminder. I pulled out my Arteza EverBlend markers, and I'm going to put all the caps up on the screen for you. I ended up using I think it's the set of 60 that I have. It's the smaller set that I have. Again, I've said a million times, you know, I'd love to get the bigger set. I haven't plunged into it yet, but eventually I may. And I also did pull in the blacks and the grays. That's a whole different set that's just primarily those colors, which is nice. And then I'm going to color that entire background with this color. I obviously cut a lot of that out just because it wasn't necessary to show you all that. But I will say when you're using alcohol markers and you're trying to cover a big area, you definitely want to try and stay close to the area that you're working on and just work your way down, if that makes any sense. So I'll bring in this other color and I'm going to blend that out using the 251. What I like about this, it can be a little frustrating at first because I do think these are a little bit different than other alcohol markers, is that when I put down that color, even though it's a little bit darker, I put my blending color on top of that, and it may not blend right away, but over time it will definitely soften up those edges, which is something that I like. So I'll keep using that color just around the edges. It makes those letters pop, and that sentiment, how do you not love that sentiment? Permission, it's okay not to be okay. Like I said, sometimes we need a reminder of that. So I'm going to keep going with that, and I'm going to put that around all of those letters. Next, we'll come in with a much darker gray, and we'll cover the pin, and then we're also going to color in the word permission. These alcohol markers by Arteza are nice because they do have like a bullet nib, which is perfect for these letters. Sometimes I find that when I'm using my Copics, which is, I have a big investment in those for sure. When I'm using those, I have a brush nib, and that can be a little bit more difficult sometimes coloring in these letters, just simply because that brush nib has a mind of its own sometimes. And now we're going to come in with this purple, and we're going to color the rest of the letters. So again, this bullet nib is really, really nice for these skinny letters. I can just very easily work my way around and not worry too much about getting outside of the lines. But then I've hit all of those colors. I've hit that, the light blue, we've got the almost like a coral color, and then we have the purple color. And now I'll bring in the matching die. And so there's two dies in this set. There's this one that goes all around, and then there's also one for the pin. And now it's time to actually start assembling our frame so we can attach things. So again, you're going to have some perforation, and on the back of the pad it'll tell you what you got to pull off and how to assemble. And so it's actually really, really simple. First attempt at making these or doing this, and there was no issue. Again, I was concerned because this is 140-pound paper, how sturdy it actually would be. And we'll talk about that here in a second. I've grabbed out this is Potion paper by Brutus Monroe. It's just this pretty purple, and I thought that matched pretty nicely. So we're going to go old school here, and we're going to tear our paper so that it fits nicely around our sentiment. But I want a lot more of that background to show, so I'm going to end up tearing more. And I start out with a little bit at first, but you can always tear more away. You just can't put it back on, right? So once I'm happy with that, then we're going to attach that down just using a little bit of liquid glue. We're going to attach that to our Potion cardstock. And then I want some dimension, so I'm going to pull out some Arteza foam tape. This stuff is actually a very good foam tape. The only annoying thing about it, which really isn't that big of a deal, is that the release paper is so staticky. So you peel that stuff off, which is very easy to peel off, but the stuff is so staticky it sticks to your hands. No big deal though. All right, so here is where I'm looking at the back and trying to figure out exactly how I am to put this together. And you'll see there's the score lines, and I will end up reinforcing those score lines just using a bone folder that I have. My first mistake though was that I didn't do all of the lines first. I went ahead and attached these pieces because I was only paying attention to that, but my suggestion is that you would score all of your edges first. Or not score them, but you'll burnish those score lines first. I'm going to attach down my piece down to the very middle of my canvas. And then for extra measure, which really isn't necessary, I don't think, you could probably just get away with some glue or maybe not even have to do it at all. But I went ahead and put some 1/2-inch score tape on the last edge. So here's where I'm burnishing those score lines. Again, should have done it to all of them before I attached anything, but wasn't thinking, just was concerned about this piece. I'll peel off the release paper on that score tape, and then I'll attach that down. and just make sure that's on there pretty good, and then I'll do the other side. Again, as I'm doing this, I don't know why I wasn't thinking, oh, I should be doing all the sides. Peel off that release paper and then attach that down. And it's really easy to line up. And then I will look at the back again, and then it shows me exactly, okay, you'll push in those pieces, and again, fold everything in. There are some little cut lines where those pieces will, and mine, because I didn't actually make sure that they were all good to go beforehand, I went ahead and brought in some scissors. That wasn't completely necessary, especially if I had taken a look at it first. It would have been fine. So then we just slip everything in. And again, just trying to make sure that that was good to go. And then we do it to the other side. It's the same process again, and it's actually so simple. I imagine the other ones that are available are just as simple. Again, some of those are heavier paper though. They were over 200-pound paper, so that I think will make them super sturdy. So one was good for acrylics, another one was a sketch pad, like mixed media. So I thought that was good, and here we have it. It's all finished, and it was so simple. I thoroughly enjoyed making this. I'm anxious to, like I said, try painting and using a lot more water on it and seeing how sturdy it can be, but this in itself is actually quite sturdy, and so I'm very excited to put this up on my wall. So yeah. So there it is, folks. I would love to know what you think. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so that you don't miss anything. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.